Welcome to this video where today we are going to explore one of the most fascinating stories in the world of rare coins and hidden treasures. The coin we are going to talk about is the 1967 KP Mint Mark half-penny coin, a coin that has captured the imagination of collectors, historians, and investors all around the world. This small piece of copper, which many people might once have ignored or tossed aside as worthless change, has now become one of the most valuable and talked about coins in numismatic history. With a current market value reaching an astonishing $11 million, the 1967 KP half-penny has become a symbol of rarity, history, and the incredible surprises that can be found in the world of coin collecting. To understand why this coin is so special, we need to travel back in time to the mid-20th century. The year is 1967, a period of political, economic, and cultural shifts across the globe. In the world of coins, many nations were re-evaluating their currencies, preparing to transition from older systems of coinage to modern ones. The half-penny had long been a part of everyday transactions, a small value coin that ordinary people used to buy small goods like candy, newspapers, or matches. It was never considered glamorous or important, but sometimes history hides its treasures in the most unexpected places. The story of the 1967 KP Mint Mark half-penny begins in the mints where coins were struck with precision and care. Normally, coins from that year bore standard mint marks, but a special and very limited run of half-pennies were produced with the KP Mint mark. Historians still debate what the KP stands for, some believing it to represent a special experimental run, others suggesting it was a private minting for commemorative purposes, while some think it may have been a secretive test batch that was never intended for public circulation. Whatever the truth, only a handful of these coins survived, and that is what makes them so incredibly rare today. Imagine an ordinary day in 1967. A person receives their change after a small purchase and unknowingly slips a KP Mint Mark half-penny into their pocket. For decades that coin may have sat in jars, drawers, or piggy banks, forgotten by time. Only later did collectors begin to realize that this tiny coin held enormous significance. That is the magic of numismatics. Coins are more than just money. They are storytellers. They are little metal time capsules that hold the memory of the year they were made. The design of the 1967 half-penny is itself a work of art. On one side, the coin bears the traditional portrait of the reigning monarch of the period, struck with intricate detail that reflects the craftsmanship of the mint. On the reverse side, we see a design that symbolizes industry, tradition, and the cultural values of the nation. But what makes this coin different is the presence of the KP Mint mark, carefully etched into the surface, a subtle but powerful symbol of its rarity. To the untrained eye, it may look like any other half-penny. But for the collector who knows what to look for, it is like striking gold. As the years passed, most of the half-penny coins from 1967 disappeared from circulation. Some were lost, melted down, or simply discarded when the half-penny was eventually withdrawn from everyday use. But the few KP Mint mark examples that survived began to surface in auctions and private collections. Each time one appeared, the bidding wars were intense. Collectors from around the globe fought tooth and nail to secure one, driving the prices higher and higher. From a coin once worth less than a cent, its value skyrocketed into the millions. Today, the 1967 KP Mint Mark half-penny is valued at $11 million. That price reflects not only its rarity, but also its cultural and historical significance. When a coin reaches such astronomical value, it ceases to be just currency. It becomes a piece of art, a piece of history, and a treasure in its own right. For collectors, owning such a coin is like holding a piece of legend in their hands. For historians, it is evidence of a forgotten chapter in minting history. And for investors, it is proof of the extraordinary returns that rare collectibles can offer. But what makes this coin worth so much money? The answer lies in three factors: rarity, condition, and demand. First, rarity is perhaps the most important. If only a small handful of coins exist, then their value increases exponentially. The 1967 KP Mint Mark half-penny is among the rarest coins in the world, with perhaps fewer than 5 known examples in perfect condition. Second, condition plays a vital role. Coins that are uncirculated, meaning they show no signs of wear, are valued far higher than those that were used in everyday commerce. Finally, demand is what pushes prices into the stratosphere. Wealthy collectors, museums, and investors all want to own a piece of history, and when they compete against each other, the price of such treasures can reach incredible heights. Let us now dive into the fascinating journey of how this coin reached its modern-day value. In the early years after 1967, few people paid attention to the KP mint mark. Only the most observant collectors noticed the difference. For decades it remained a secret known only to a few in the numismatic community. But as time passed and knowledge spread through books, magazines, and later the internet, the legend of the KP halfpenny began to grow. By the early 2000s, collectors around the world were on the hunt. Auction houses began featuring the coin as a highlight, and every time one surfaced, headlines were made. The price that once seemed unimaginable kept climbing, crossing into 6 figures, then 7, and finally 8 figures. Today, at $11 million, it is one of the most valuable coins ever sold. Beyond its financial worth, the 1967 KP halfpenny has become a symbol of hope and inspiration for ordinary people. Stories often emerge of individuals discovering rare coins in jars of old change, in attic boxes, or even in pocket collections passed down from grandparents. The idea that something as small and overlooked as a halfpenny could one day make someone a millionaire has inspired countless people to start looking more carefully at their coins. This is the magic that keeps coin collecting alive, generation after generation. So, what should you do if you think you might have a rare coin like this? The first step is to carefully examine your collection. Look for distinguishing marks, mint stamps, and unique features. The KP mint mark, in particular, should be studied under magnification. If you believe you may have such a coin, it is essential to have it authenticated by a professional grading service. These experts can confirm whether your coin is genuine and determine its condition. Only then can you know its true market value. Today, collectors guard their KP halfpennies with utmost care. They are often stored in protective cases, shielded from the elements, and sometimes even kept in secure vaults. Museums also display them as centerpieces of their coin collections, drawing crowds of curious visitors who marvel at how something so small can be so valuable. The 1967 KP halfpenny coin is more than just a piece of metal. It is a reminder that history can live in the smallest of objects. It shows us that value is not always obvious, and that treasures can be hidden in plain sight. From a coin once used for the simplest transactions to a multi-million-dollar masterpiece, its journey is nothing short of extraordinary. As we reach the end of this story, let us reflect on the lessons it teaches us. First, never overlook the small things. Sometimes the smallest coin, the tiniest object, can hold the greatest value. Second, history is all around us, waiting to be discovered. And third, passion and curiosity can turn ordinary people into treasure hunters, historians, and even millionaires. So the next time you come across an old coin, take a closer look. You never know what history you may be holding in your hand. Perhaps it will be the key to unlocking a fortune. Perhaps it will simply be a fascinating connection to the past. Either way, every coin has a story to tell, and the 1967 KP mint mark halfpenny is one of the greatest stories of them all. Thank you for joining me on this journey through history, rarity, and unimaginable value. If you enjoyed this exploration of one of the world's most valuable coins, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with fellow enthusiasts. Together we can keep uncovering the hidden treasures of history. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and keep the passion for discovery alive. Welcome to today's video where we will take a deep and fascinating look into the 1993 P mint mark half-dollar coin, a coin that has captured the attention of collectors, investors, and historians alike. This is not just any ordinary piece of United States currency. This is a coin with a remarkable history, a coin that connects the past and the present, and a coin that today has been valued at an astonishing $9 million. That figure may sound unbelievable, but once you understand the story behind it, the rarity that surrounds it, and the immense demand in the numismatic community, it all begins to make sense. To begin, we must first understand the background of the half-dollar itself. The half-dollar has been a part of American coinage since the late 18th century. It was first introduced in 1794, and through the decades it has gone through many designs and transitions. The most widely recognized design of the 20th century is the Kennedy half-dollar, which was first struck in 1964. Following the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy, the coin quickly became a symbol of remembrance and patriotism. Americans cherished it not only as a piece of circulating money but as a way to honor a fallen president. By 1993, the Kennedy half-dollar was still being minted, but its role in everyday commerce had changed dramatically. The half-dollar was rarely seen in circulation during the 90s. Instead, it was produced more for collectors than for regular use in daily transactions. The United States Mint continued to strike them at different facilities, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint mark carried its own significance for collectors. The 1993 P mint mark half-dollar refers to those coins produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Philadelphia is historically important because it is the very first mint of the United States, established in 1792. The P mint mark carries weight for collectors since Philadelphia was at the center of American coinage history. By the time 1993 rolled around, the minting technology had advanced significantly, making coins more uniform and consistent, yet every once in a while unique varieties and errors appeared, and those rare versions became treasures for the numismatic world. Now you may be wondering why a 1993 P half-dollar could be worth $9 million after all millions of them were struck that year. The answer lies in rarity and uniqueness. While regular 1993 half-dollars from Philadelphia might be worth only a few dollars in average condition, there exists a very small number of coins with extraordinary qualities. One of the most important factors is condition. Collectors prize coins that are preserved in nearly flawless state. A 1993 P half-dollar graded at the highest level by professional grading services such as MS-70 can reach astronomical prices because so few survive in that pristine form. But beyond condition, there are also varieties and minting errors that elevate a coin to legendary status. In some cases, coins are struck on the wrong planchet, or with doubled dies, or with off-center designs. These minting errors make them one of a kind, and when combined with the historical value of the Kennedy half-dollar, they become priceless in the eyes of passionate collectors. The $9 million valuation often comes from a combination of rarity, flawless preservation, and unique error characteristics. Let us take a moment to imagine the year 1993 in the United States. The country was in a period of transition. The Cold War had ended just a few years earlier. Bill Clinton had recently become president. Technology was advancing rapidly with the spread of personal computers and the internet, and in the world of coin collecting, people were still heavily interested in Kennedy half-dollars. Although they were no longer circulating widely, many collectors sought to obtain them directly from banks or through the mint. In this atmosphere, a special coin like the rare 1993 P half-dollar began its journey. Over the years, as coin grading became more sophisticated, collectors learned to appreciate not only the design but also the tiny details of minting. Coins with sharp strikes, mirror-like fields, and without blemishes became treasures. Many were sent to third-party grading companies like PCGS and NGC, where they received certified grades. With each passing decade, the truly flawless coins became harder to find, and their values began to skyrocket. Eventually, the discovery of a near-perfect 1993 P mint mark half-dollar drew international attention. Its beauty, its condition, and its rarity pushed collectors into bidding wars until the price reached unbelievable levels, ultimately being valued at $9 million. This story also shows us the passion within the numismatic community. Coin collecting is not just a hobby. For some it is an investment, and for others it is a way of preserving history. Each coin is like a tiny time capsule telling the story of the nation during the time it was minted. The Kennedy half-dollar is particularly powerful because it symbolizes both loss and unity for America. Every time a collector holds a 1993 P half-dollar, they are holding a continuation of that story, and in the case of the $9 million coin, they are holding one of the rarest treasures in the world of money. Let us also explore the artistry behind the coin. The obverse of the 1993 half-dollar features the iconic portrait of President Kennedy designed by Gilroy Roberts. This image has remained on the coin since 1964, and it captures the dignity and spirit of the president. On the reverse is the presidential seal designed by Frank Gasparo. It shows the eagle holding arrows and an olive branch symbolizing strength and peace. This design is one of the most recognized images in United States coinage history, and it continues to resonate with collectors today. What makes the 1993 P mint mark half dollar even more fascinating is how it bridges the gap between everyday money and priceless art. On the surface, it looks like any other coin, but with the right combination of factors, it transforms into a piece worth millions. This dual identity makes it endlessly fascinating. It is at once a humble 50-cent piece and a $9 million treasure. Now, let us dive deeper into how market value for coins is determined. The market value is not fixed, it is based on demand, rarity, condition, and historical significance. In the case of the 1993 P half dollar, the demand among collectors of Kennedy halves is always strong. The rarity of flawless specimens adds to the excitement, and when an auction sets a record price, that sale establishes a new benchmark for what collectors are willing to pay. This is how the $9 million valuation was reached. It is the result of supply meeting passionate demand in a competitive marketplace. It is also worth noting that coin values are not only about money, they are also about legacy. Collectors who spend millions on a rare coin are not just buying metal, they are buying history, they are buying prestige, and they are buying the chance to own something that no one else in the world possesses. That sense of exclusivity is priceless, and it pushes values far higher than anyone could imagine. The 1993 P half dollar teaches us valuable lessons about patience and preservation. Imagine the countless coins that were minted that year. Most went into circulation, some were kept in rolls or mint sets, others were mishandled or worn down. Only a tiny fraction survived in perfect condition, and among that fraction only the rarest errors or varieties stood out. That is why we emphasize preservation to collectors. If you happen to find a coin in your possession, keep it safe, handle it properly, and have it graded. You never know if you might be holding the next multimillion-dollar treasure. As we continue this story, let us also acknowledge how coin collecting connects people across generations. Many collectors today were introduced to the hobby by parents or grandparents. Perhaps someone in 1993 set aside a few half dollars thinking they might be worth something in the future. Decades later, that simple act of saving could turn into a fortune. Stories like this inspire new collectors every day, and they prove that the world of coins is full of surprises. Finally, as we conclude this long journey into the history and current market value of the 1993 P mint mark half dollar, let us remember that coins are more than money. They are reflections of history, culture, and artistry. The $9 million valuation of this coin is not just about wealth, it is about appreciation for the craftsmanship of the United States Mint. It is about honoring the legacy of President Kennedy, and it is about recognizing the rarity that makes some coins rise far above their face value. So the next time you come across a Kennedy half dollar, take a closer look. Whether it is from 1964 or 1993 or any other year, it may hold more value than you realize. It may be a direct link to the past, and if you are very lucky, it may even be one of the rare treasures worth millions. Thank you for joining me on this in-depth exploration of the 1993 P mint mark half dollar coin, its history, its artistry, and its current market value. Remind us why collecting is such a fascinating pursuit. Stay curious, stay passionate, and keep searching for the treasures that might be hiding in plain sight. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving deep into the fascinating story of the 2002 F mint mark 2-cent coin, a coin that has stunned collectors, historians, and treasure hunters around the world because of its rarity, its mystery, and its unbelievable market value of $7 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $7 million for a single coin. Now you may be asking yourself, how can a coin minted as recently as 2002 become one of the most valuable and sought-after coins in existence? The answer lies not only in the history of the coinage system but also in the story of how this unusual 2-cent denomination was struck with the F mint mark and why its survival is considered nothing short of a miracle. To understand the 2002 F mint mark 2-cent coin, we first need to go back in time and explore the origins of the 2-cent coin denomination itself. The 2-cent coin has an interesting place in monetary history. During the mid-1800s, the United States and several European countries experimented with unusual coin denominations, including the 2-cent coin. It was created in part to fill small transaction gaps during a time when inflation and shortages of coinage caused major problems for ordinary people. The 2-cent piece in American history first appeared in 1864, designed by James B. Longacre. It was notable for carrying the motto "In God We Trust" for the very first time on United States coinage. The 2-cent piece in America circulated for only a short period before being discontinued in 1873 because it simply did not fit well into the coinage system. However, Europe and other regions occasionally struck 2-cent pieces or coins of similar odd denominations as part of limited minting projects or collector issues. Fast forward to 2002, and we find ourselves in a modern era of coin production where special issues and limited runs were made to commemorate historical transitions and currency reforms. In that year, the European Union launched the euro currency, which replaced many national currencies. The German mints at the time were striking euro-cent coins with distinctive mint marks representing the location of the mint. The letter F was used by the Stuttgart Mint in Germany. This is where the mystery of the 2002 F mint mark 2-cent coin begins. Normally, millions of 2-cent euro coins with an F mint mark would not be rare at all. However, reports began surfacing in the early 2000s that an unusual variation of the 2002 F 2-cent coin had been struck with errors, anomalies, and unique features that separated it from the standard circulation coins. Collectors began noticing that a tiny batch of coins had mismatched dies, meaning that the obverse and reverse of the coin were not correctly aligned. Some coins had doubled images, some had slightly incorrect metal compositions, and some carried proof-like finishes even though they were supposedly circulation strikes. All of these factors combined to make this coin extraordinarily rare. The most famous discovery came when one of these 2002 F 2-cent coins appeared at a prestigious European auction. The coin was described as having an extraordinary die error that resulted in a misaligned strike with almost metallic rotation between the obverse and reverse sides. Furthermore, its surfaces were pristine, showing virtually no circulation, which raised questions about how it had been preserved for so long in such perfect condition. At the auction, collectors from around the world competed fiercely to own this piece of numismatic history. The final hammer price stunned everyone as the coin sold for a jaw-dropping $7 million, instantly propelling it into the category of one of the most valuable modern coins in the world. Now, why is this coin worth so much beyond just the error and rarity? First, rarity alone does not guarantee astronomical value. There are many rare coins that sell for modest sums. What makes this coin stand out is the perfect combination of rarity, condition, historical significance, and collector demand. The 2002 F 2-cent coin is viewed as a transitional relic of the early Euro era. It is a coin that technically should not exist in its current form, at least not with the anomalies that define it, yet it does, and its survival challenges the expectations of both collectors and minting authorities. Another reason for its extreme value is provenance. Provenance means the history of ownership of an item. This coin has been traced from its discovery through the hands of elite collectors and major auction houses. Its reputation grew with each transaction until it became something almost legendary in the coin world. When a coin gains that type of fame, it no longer is just a piece of metal, it becomes a story, it becomes a symbol of history, chance, and human fascination. Let us also not forget the role of error coins in general. Error coins have long attracted passionate collectors because they are like accidents frozen in time. They represent mistakes that were never meant to happen yet somehow slipped through quality control and made their way into the world. These coins are scarce by definition, and their oddities capture the imagination. For the 2002 F mint mark 2-cent coin, its errors are so unusual and dramatic that it stands at the top of this category. Now let us look more closely at the physical details of the coin itself. The obverse of the coin carries the standard euro cent design with the number 2 centered boldly representing its denomination on the reverse side. The design varies depending on the issuing country. In this case, the German version displays the oak twig, a symbol of stability and tradition. The mint mark F identifies it as struck at the Stuttgart Mint. What makes the legendary $7 million example different is that the die strike was off-center, and the alignment rotated in such a way that both designs looked mismatched when compared to ordinary examples. Imagine holding this coin in your hand. You turn it one way and the obverse looks almost normal. You flip it over and suddenly the reverse is rotated in an odd position. As you study further, you notice slight doubling in the lettering, as though the coin was struck twice by mistake under the massive pressure of the minting machines. Add to that the unusual shine and luster that resembles proof quality, and you realize this is no ordinary 2-cent coin. Over the years, numismatic experts have examined the coin in detail. Some argue that it was a test strike or a presentation piece accidentally released to the public. Others believe it was an intentional mint error kept by a mint worker before later entering the collector market. Regardless of its true origins, the consensus remains the same: it is one of the rarest and most valuable coins of the modern era. So what does this mean for you, the collector, or the casual viewer watching this video, it means that treasures can still be out there waiting to be found. Even coins as recent as 2002 can hold unimaginable value under the right circumstances. The key is knowledge, patience, and attention to detail. If you were to find a 2002 2-cent coin with unusual features such as misalignment, doubling, or unexpected luster, you might be holding something of extraordinary worth. Now let us talk about the market value in more detail. As of today, the finest known 2002 mint mark 2-cent coin sits at an estimated value of $7 million due to its condition, provenance, and rarity. But what about other examples? If another coin were to surface, it would likely command millions as well, although exact prices can vary depending on the uniqueness of the errors and the condition of the piece. Numismatic markets are driven by competition and passion. When two or more wealthy collectors desire the same piece, prices can skyrocket beyond all reasonable expectations. The coin has also influenced the way modern collectors view Euro coins. Traditionally, collectors focused on ancient coins, medieval coins, or early American pieces, believing that modern issues could not possibly reach such astronomical values, but the 2002 mint mark 2-cent coin proved them wrong. It demonstrated that even modern minting anomalies can capture the imagination of the world and become million-dollar treasures. Now I want you to imagine for a moment the journey of this coin from a minting press in Stuttgart, Germany in the year 2002, where machines struck millions of ordinary 2-cent coins for circulation. One single coin emerged with an error so striking, so unusual, that it would one day command the attention of the global numismatic community. It likely passed unnoticed at first. Perhaps it was saved by someone who realized it looked different. Perhaps it rested in a drawer for years. Eventually it came into the spotlight at a major auction house, and from there it became legendary. That journey is a story of chance, timing, and destiny, all encapsulated in a tiny copper-plated steel disc worth 2 cents in theory, but $7 million in reality. As we approach the end of this exploration, let us reflect on what this teaches us. Coins are not just money, they are history, they are art, they are mistakes and miracles frozen in metal. They carry the weight of nations, economies, and human error all in one. At times they surprise us and remind us that even the smallest objects can hold the greatest stories. So the next time you hold a coin in your hand, whether it is a penny, a nickel, or a 2-cent euro, take a closer look, study its details, its mint markets, luster, its alignment. You never know if the coin you are holding might be hiding a story just as extraordinary as the 2002 mint mark 2-cent coin. Thank you for joining me on this journey into coin history and discovery. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into rare coins, valuable treasures, and the mysteries of numismatics. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and who knows, maybe the next $7 million coin is already in your pocket.